Hey, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to look at some malicious compliance stories. Like and subscribe and let's get into it. Boss said dress for the job you want, so I started wearing a CEO costume to my retail job. I work at a mid-tier clothing store, and our district manager came through last month giving us the usual corporate pep talk. During the meeting, she kept emphasizing how we should dress for the job you want, not the job you have, and think like leaders. Now our dress code is pretty relaxed, basically just look professional and wear something from our store. Most of us wear jeans and a nice top or sweater from our inventory. I decided to take her advice literally. Started showing up in full business formal tailored suits, thrifted, because retail wages, dress shirts, ties, you know the works. I even brought a cheap briefcase that I carry around the store, which I got from a cache on Grizzly's Quest. At first, customers started assuming I was the manager and would come to me with complaints and returns. I'd politely redirect them, but it was happening constantly. My actual manager seemed confused, but couldn't really say anything since I was following the dress code and the DM's advice. The best part was when the DM came back for her monthly visit. She saw me restocking the shelves in my full suit and tie, briefcase sitting nearby, and just stared for like 10 seconds. She asked my manager about it, and he just shrugged and said, "She's dressing for the job she wants." Now half my co-workers have started wearing more formal clothes too, and our store apparently has the most professional-looking team in the district. The DM hasn't mentioned the dress code since. Don't worry, I won't mow your weeds again. Picture in the comments to show just how ridiculous this is. The short, mowed grass is to the left. That's what my dad mows. The mowed grass along the road is the part the state mows with their tractors a couple times per year. This post is about the tall weeds in the middle. For most of the summer, I have a rough-cut mower behind my little tractor. Not the biggest thing, but perfect for mowing tall brush and weeds in tight areas. For years, whenever the state mowed their part, I'd jump on my tractor and mow that tall section, so it all blended in. Never mentioned it to my dad because it only took about 5 minutes to mow. Not an issue. The key part of this story is my mower throws clippings out of the back, but also to the right a bit. Typically, I go so the clippings went towards the road. One day about 4 years ago, I wasn't thinking and went the other direction. It wasn't too bad. Just got some grass clippings in his grass. Figured the next time he mowed, he'd just run through it with his lawnmower and shred the clippings and blow it towards the road, and it would all be over. Boy, was I wrong. My wife saw it all. He drove past, stopped, got out of the truck to look at the damage, went home, changed into work clothes, and came back with a lawn rake. Mind you, we're just talking about grass clippings in the grass. It's not like I left it looking like a hay field. Nothing that I wouldn't run back over with my lawn mower and shred. He came inside screaming and cussing at me for making a mess. He said, "You know that grass is my pride and joy," and told me I had no business cutting his grass because the state cuts it anyways, so why would you cut it? Apparently, he never realized that I was the one that cut it after the state did their section. I told him not to worry about it. It won't happen again. He told me that if I really wanted to cut it, just rake up when I'm done. I said no, it won't happen again. That was 4 years ago. That grass hasn't been cut since. Now, whenever the state mows, it looks exactly like this. He's too stubborn to ask me to mow it, and I'm damn sure not going to take it upon myself to mess up his pride and joy. Landlord maliciously compliance themselves. This happened a few years ago in my last apartment. My roommate and I were living in a basement place with upstairs neighbors, and the owner decided he wanted to sell. The upstairs neighbor ended up buying it and became our new landlords, and they were awful at it. I could fill a whole post with the amount of stuff they try to get away with, but we're here to talk about one particular instance. But suffice to say, they had no idea that landlords had responsibilities and simply saw us tenants as a source of income that should be ever growing, hence our rent suddenly spiking, and why we left. But there was one time they maliciously complianced themselves. See, they had a habit of trying to push stuff on us that was blatantly illegal. Their first contract, For example, said among other things that they had the right to enter the apartment at any time they wanted and could go through our stuff if they wished because we were living on their property. I pointed out that this was highly illegal, and they grew very upset, saying, "Well, see about that." This clause later suddenly became the real one before we signed. One day, however, our lone fire alarm stopped working. As dutiful tenants, we reached out and said, "Hey, the fire alarm stopped working." Their response was a predictable sort of, "So what?" "We need to have a working fire alarm," we replied, "and it's the landlord's duty to provide working fire alarms." "No, it's not. You want one, you get it. The law says otherwise." And here's where they maliciously compliance themselves. Possibly because they were getting tired of being corrected. They got snooty with this one. We got a very sarcastic response. "Oh, it does it? Well, we'll just see what the fire marshal has to say about that." Me and my roommate, upon receiving this message, burst out laughing. But they were serious. They thought they were going to contact the fire marshal. He was going to side with them, and then they could come down on us hard. I don't know what their expressions were when we said, "Okay, yeah, do that." However, the next morning there's frantic knocking at our door. There's the landlord and his family, looking very concerned, with a bag of brand-new fire alarms, one for each room, and IRC even 2 spares. He begs to be let outside of the 24-hour notice, and says it's an emergency. He has to put these alarms up right now. Trying not to laugh, we let them in, and they hurriedly put one in every single room, apologizing profusely for the delay, and telling us, "If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask." I don't know how that meeting with the fire marshal went, or if they got him or someone else at their office, but their attitude painted a pretty clear picture of the ultimate result. They complied maliciously, thinking they'd called our bluff. Whoops. You will stack the hay how I want it stacked. I used to work for and manage a rural stock feed supply shop that deliver hard feed and hay to many of the local hobby farms. During the earlier year or two of my time there was a lady who after some time we came to a solid understanding that she can be a prickly bitch, and we have since laughed about this incident. For the sake of keeping her identity safe, let's call her Janice for this tale. Now this gal is somewhere in her mid-60s and has quite the boomer attitude when it comes to doing things. That fun old shtick of, "I've been doing this since you were in nappies, so do how I tell you." Well, this one fine summer, in the middle of a drought, she ordered a large batch of hay, 60 bales. I drive out in the truck, and I know I'm going to get a good workout putting these babies in her shed because the truck can't get close to her shed. Not a cloud in the sky to stop that sun beating down my neck as I unloaded the truck. 33 degrees Celsius, which is somewhere in the 90 degrees Fahrenheit for you Freedom Unit-loving readers. I start stacking the hay in her shed in a formation, so as the hay bales will interlock kind of like brick work and not fall over. Each layer being 6 bales. 2 stacks 5 high, 60 bales. If you need a bit more explanation on that, well, I don't quite know what to tell you. Sorry. I also didn't quite know what to tell old Janice when she came running up. "You're stacking it all wrong," she tells me. "You'll never fit it all in the shed." As I try to explain my plan, she talks over me and begins to gruffly comment something about uppity young shits who think they know everything. She pulls apart my stack and begins to stack the hay all in the same lines. I already see the problem. Stacking 5 bales high like this is going to see a whole stack fall down on whoever goes to get hay from the top of it. It's dangerous. It's stupid. It's not safe. Cue malicious compliance. I stack the hay just like she wanted me to, and I notice the stack is very close to someone screaming Jenga. I tell her she can put the final bale up. "No, I'll feed this one out tonight," she says, happy that I stacked it her way. She waves goodbye. I get in my truck. I start the engine. Oh fuck. I hear from the hay shed. I swivel my head, and there lay poor old Janice, under 10 bales of hay that somehow fell on top of her. I promptly unbury her. I call my boss. Yeah, I'm going to have to restack all this hay. My boss. She just won't learn her lesson. This time, as I restack the hay, I explain why I stacked it the way I did, and while she rolled her shoulder, Wincing at the pain caused by her own stupidity, she says to me, "Glad one of us knows what they're doing."